to enlighten, to teach us about how to grow your business using AI. Now, we all on the AI page, and we've heard a lot about AI, but what I'm sure of and believe you will learn today will actually blow your mind. When I first met with Dennis, it was really exciting to see what he's busy with and for how many years he's been, experimenting and building this process that that's going to share with you today. I can't wait, and I ask you to really take hands with us to share that with everybody who wants to hear that. And when we actually launched this thing at the event at the CSOR the other day, the interest was overwhelming, and we were hoping to get some 50 or 70 people, and I believe, Dennis, about 110 people on the call this morning.
Yes, 110 people booked.
That's really exciting. We can't wait. So from our side, the Business Chamber, and from my side personally as well, welcome everybody, and I look forward to learn how to grow businesses. And before I hand over to Dennis, the principle is always the same: to have a budget this time of the year prepared for the next financial year, and to have some kind of idea what sales you're going to have and what the income on the income statement is going to look like. You have to understand that everything starts with lead generation, and lead generation is a science all on its own. And the moment we understand how leads are generated, then we can take the step after that in terms of converting those leads into customers. And once we understand how many customers we have, we then calculate the average value per transaction, and obviously the frequency of transaction to get to a sales number. So sales always consists of leads times conversion times frequency of transaction and times average value. And when you listen to Dennis this morning, you'll see how this fits into the technology and where the world is going at the moment. And I can't wait to allow Dennis to share his wisdom and his experience with us. And Dennis, with all excitement, this is the moment. Take us away. Thank you, Dennis. Go for it.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Just so that we can start with some logistics, you're very welcome to engage with us with the chat. Introduce yourself, share your LinkedIn link so people can connect with each other. Fergus has been so kind to volunteer to put his hand up to manage the chat for us while I'm presenting. I'm letting in more people as we go. We're up to almost 50 already. So it's lovely seeing everybody. So thank you for joining our webinar, where I'm going to try my best to, in about 40 to 45 minutes, cover how you can grow AI or grow your business with AI. The challenge is not having enough content. The challenge is there's so much content that it's a challenge to have it all contained for you. But I'm going to try. So I think the first thing that I want to ask is just in the chat, if you can just give me where you are. So just making sure everybody can find the chat. It's at the bottom right. And then, just give us an update, how much AI have you used? Are you dabbling, etc.? While I let the last few people in, you'll see that our links and my links to LinkedIn, everything is in the presentation. And I also want to just share this presentation with you. So you're very welcome to get this presentation. All the links that I'm going to have will be in the presentation as resources, so you can link to them. I'll wait a little bit longer before I share the actual presentation with you, because I know you guys are going to be clicking on all the links instead of listening. Okay. I've been in education long enough to know how that works. Thanks, Louise. At least you're laughing at my jokes. You're the only one I can see. So, right. So just give me a little bit of feedback. Where are you? Have you dabbled a little bit? Where are you? While people are giving that feedback, just if I talk about myself. So I've been playing with AI before it was cool. I need to make myself a t-shirt like that for this. You know, my son came to me about 5 years ago. He was in matric then, and he said, "Dad, I want to study engineering. This English is killing me. I know you're working with stuff. Can you just show me, maybe a few things?" I said, "Listen, this was before ChatGPT was launched. I was working with the regional visions when I was working as a futurist for the University of Pretoria, looking at disruptive technologies. And I said, I'm going to show you this link and this back into this platform. But there's two rules. You're not allowed to tell anybody, and you're not allowed to just get it to do your work and not, do your own work." So he says, "Okay, man, it's fine." So I give him access to this thing. I make sure he does his own work, and that's fine. But about 3 months later, a mom comes to me. She says, "Dennis, I just want to say thank you very much for that website that Ian showed Josh. His English marks went up by 20%. He's a lifesaver." Anyway, he got into trouble with me for that. But yeah. So I've been playing around with AI for a long time. Me and Werner, he's also in Kriel, started AI transformation company where we help companies basically implement all of this new technology. So thank you for the feedback on the chat. I see there's quite a range of people, what they've done. Some are AI whisperers, some have just dabbled a little bit, but it's good to know where we are. And I'm trying to do this presentation in such a way that you guys can. I forgot to share my screen. You guys can get benefit out of it. So I'll start with the basics, and I do apologize if you've covered the basics really. But why I need to start with the basics is we make sure that everybody knows what's happening. Just for the last people that's joining at the moment, you are very welcome to use the chat to ask questions and give feedback. Okay. What we do know is that about 70% of South African business leaders say that they are ready for AI, but most don't know where to start. And that is what we're finding again and again as we engage with CEOs and business leaders, is they've got this elephant in the room. They know it's going to disrupt them somehow, somewhere, but they don't know where to start. And I think that's where I want to maybe just give you some starting points that you can implement and apply for yourself. The biggest thing is that you need to know where you want to implement AI. So we've developed a framework, just very broadly. It gets into much more detail, but very broadly, if you need to think about your website or your business, start with a framework to see where you can apply it. Because all businesses have different different aspects to it. AI is very powerful, for instance, with business strategy, ideation, looking at new ideas, new products. You can create a virtual board of advisors to do work for you and with you. And this is where AI becomes a thought partner. And I'm going to show you some examples of that. Then we've got marketing and sales. Normally, this is the fastest visible return on investment. If you can leverage these AI tools to make more sales, because as Fergus said earlier, everything is downstream from leads, sales, and then that leads to business growth. Then in there, we can look at some of the tools available to create content, to do YouTube strategy for you, to research what your competitors are doing, and then react on that, etc. After that, you've got your operational aspects and the team that you're managing, and I'll show you some examples of where you can use it internally. This is a lot of times where we come in, is where we say, we look at your business as a whole, and then we identify, okay, these are the low-hanging fruit where you've got this repetitive task that you're doing internally. Let's build your AI tool that does that for you. Or your team is, a lot of busy work is being done. Report writing, who summarizes what happens on your project board for a report at the end of the month for your clients or what you've been busy with. That should be AI. It's where AI is strongest. Right? Then legal aspect of things. South Africa has a lot of compliance we have to do, not as much as England. I see we've got some visitors from the UK as well. But the compliance and the analytical space is also where AI can be very, very powerful. And then lastly, the force de resistance. My French is not very good, but in the end, I'm going to show you, if you take all of these tools and you put them into one agent, what can you do, right? But that's why I want to carry on, because I want to show you either my electronic virtual assistant that can basically run on their own. But, so first of all, let's look at phase one, where you use AI as a thought partner. And this is strategy and ideation. So here we've got all the basics. We've got ChatGPT, and I see a lot of you have used ChatGPT already. If you haven't, please do. I am surprised if I now find people that don't know what a chatbot is and so forth. It is very powerful. It allows you to create your own GPTs where you can give them, a specific role that they have to play. Here's a proposal helper I created where it's trained up with all of my data and it can help me write proposals. There's web content wizards. There's so much you can do with the different things, but also you can create projects and you can then in that project do all of your work that's contained. So ChatGPT is very powerful. It's also multimodal. It can create images for you. It can do reports for you, audits for you. All of that can happen within ChatGPT. So I'm not going to spend too much time just on that, but I will give you some master prompts that you can use later on. One that I'm quite a fan of, and they're making a lot of waves, is Claude from Anthropic. Can I just, for interest's sake, can you just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you're using Claude already? I just want to give it a gauge. I saw the other day that, okay, so a few more, okay, that I don't know if you guys are following it, but Claude took out an ad joking with OpenAI about them allowing ads in their chatbot during the Super Bowl last week. And then their ad where they joke with OpenAI got, I think, 2 million views. And then the head of OpenAI responded to them and he got 8 million views. So they goaded him into free publicity for it. I was, coming from a marketing background, I was really impressed with it. But what's nice about Claude is that you can get it, and this is a power play that I'm going to teach you. You can actually download it for your browser and get it to take control of your screen. So last week I had 240 CVs to go through for a position that I have at one of my companies. And I really didn't have time to read through them all. So I told Claude, take control of my screen on Indeed. Here is the job description and read through all of the CVs for me and shortlist for me the top 20. And it did that for me. It just ran on its own for 2 hours reading CVs. So this is one of the powerful things that can happen with I see Alex is excited about that. With Claude is you can now take control of your screen and actually control what happens on your screen. Okay, so that's Claude. We can do we are going to do a course, me and Fergus later on, that you guys can subscribe to, and we'll then show you how to give Claude control of your screen where it can do work, fill in forms, etc. for you. Then we've got Perplexity. Perplexity's claim to fame is that it allows you to search only what is real on the web and it does a lot of work making sure that its data is accurate. So that's Perplexity's claim to fame, and it's a very powerful AI. I use it for my other AIs to research things because I know they don't hallucinate. Then one of the very powerful tools that I want to show you today is Notebook LM. Now, Notebook LM is a tool by Google, and it allows you to create your own notebooks where you feed it your information. So here I've got a whole section on marketing, and I've fed it a lot of websites on AI-empowered search adaptations and SEO strategy, everything that's relevant to marketing. I can feed it YouTube videos, I can feed it PDFs, I can feed it a lot of information. And what it does then is it allows me to only search my database. So it's almost as if it's creating a vector database on your content. After that, it can then go and create content for you from your original content. So here I've asked it to create a video. Sorry, did you guys hear that that audio? Focus, you don't hear the audio. Okay. I'll see if I can share it later on. But it will create a whole video for you on your content. Bradley, you can actually share on social media if you wanted to. It can create stuff like video overviews, mind maps. So here's a mind map of all the brand strategy and everything that we do. And I can, look at how it relates to all of my content. It can create flashcards if I want to learn something. Here's a pro tip for those that have children at school. Get them to use Notebook LM with their content and let it create content for them that they can learn with. Flashcards, it can create quizzes, it can create infographics for them on it, and it's now generating an infographic for me. It can create presentations, it can create data tables with your data. So Notebook LM, if you haven't used it before, I can highly recommend it to organize data. And if you want to learn something quickly, Notebook LM is a great way. I've used it to learn more about Python recently, for instance, so that I can up my coding skills. It's that powerful. Okay, so Notebook LM is also linked in the presentation for you. Then one of the ones I'm a big fan of is Manus, and you'll see there's a link to Manus in the presentation. By the way, I just want to mention a lot of these links are links with notes to discounts on those platforms. I always try and register as a distributor for these platforms because then my clients and the people I speak to can get discount, and we're paying enough already since we're paying in dollars. So all the referral links are in the presentation, which we'll share at the end of the hour live. You can just click on it. So Manus is very powerful in that it generates its own computer to work on. So here I've got one of the master prompts that I'll share with you. I've got 12 master prompts that I'll share with you at the end. This one does a SWOT analysis on your business, and it tells you when to use this prompt, what the prompt is. Now here, to save time, I've already filled in all of this information on Manus, and you can use these master prompts on any of the tools that I mentioned. ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Notebook LM, I would first feed it information before I would use it. But Manus, then here I've fed the information and I can upload it. And what Manus would do is would actually go and spin out a bunch of other AIs to help it do the work and how it's thinking, right? Here it's now thinking about how to create the SWOT analysis. And you can see it's doing research and it's actually spinning out its own computer where it's doing the research for you. So it's going through all of the research. It's got its own plan that it developed. It's reading quite a few websites, researching the South African market, for instance. And you can see it's actually going and clicking on sites for you and doing that research. Okay, verify. It's very funny when it gets here and says, verify you're human, and the AI clicks on verify you're human. I normally laugh at that. Okay. So you'll see that it will continue to read through content, gather all the information that it needs, create the knowledge that it needs from previous interactions that I've had with it, and it will continue to do the work and do a whole SWOT analysis for me, for my company. Okay. So I must say I'm a big fan of Manus. It does a lot of very good work. You can even get it to create videos for you. You know, here I've said, okay, and I want you to do a marketing. Okay, and it can create videos for you. It can do the whole multimedia thing as well. Okay, so if you want to play with a great tool, I can highly recommend Manus as a tool as well. Okay. So that is around strategy, ideation, thought partners. I actually took that a little bit further, and I created a board of AIs. One is, your marketing guy. One is your financial guy. Well, I've even got a skeptic in there. I use Grok for that AI because Grok is very skeptical and it's a little bit more hard hitting. And you can have a whole board of executives that advises you on the things the difficult decisions that you have to do. So I think that's a great way of thinking of AI, by thinking about how they can help you think, right? Any questions or comments quickly around that? Please put them in the chat now. I'll answer maybe one or two before we continue.
Dennis, I just want to confirm we're doing a recording of it, right?
Yeah, we're recording this thing and we'll pick it up. Okay. I'm glad somebody is finding it useful. Thanks, Louise. Right, now, let's see, the prompts I'm going to share with you, and this will be in your email that you get later, is linked to 12 different prompts you can use. So when I refer to the prompt toolkit, you'll see that this is the prompts that I've built for you. So there's a business idea validation, there's SWOT analysis for you, there's a competitor analysis for you, etc. So don't have to worry, you guys don't have to copy it now. It will be shared with you all afterwards. I've shown you this, where you can use it, and we'll come back to Manus once it's finished it. Let's see if it's finished that SWOT analysis. There's actually the whole idea it built out, and I was still thinking, okay, must be a difficult company, which is Veritex that we're working. There we go, it's completed it. There was its plan, there's the references it used, and now I've got my whole analysis done, strengths, why it matters, the weaknesses that we have, the opportunities that we have, threats to what we're doing, and then strategic priorities for the next 12 months, and the references to really good information. So really good content that you can work with as a CEO to get a different viewpoint. Next, let's look at marketing and sales. So marketing and sales is one of the challenges that we face. Specifically, when I saw the data from who booked, a lot of you don't necessarily have a marketing and sales team already. You have to do it yourselves. And so you can really use AI to create that as a superpower for you. You can create LinkedIn posts. I'll show you later on. I did an experiment with Make, where I had a Make automation and AI run my LinkedIn for a month as an experiment. So it created all the content, it wrote all the everything, and all I did is I gave it topics to. right on. So it would then do analysis, do research, create the whole prompt, create an infographic for me. I could load it up. I would still do actually, no, it loaded up for me as a draft. And then I just approved it if I was happy with it. So the end of my experiment was 1,024% increase in engagement on my posts in those months. Now, why? One, I was consistent. I posted 3 times a week. 2, it was interesting stuff with a nice infographic every time. And it was relevant to that moment because I could give it topics of what's happening in the news at that moment. So that's just one example of how you can use it, for instance. You can write Facebook content and Instagram stories. Just a word of warning, don't just get ChatGPT to write you a post and paste it like that. Add your own flavor, your own, your own perspective on it. I wouldn't just take content and make it, I wrote this. There might be some M dashes in there. There might be some too generic. People can smell if it's just AI and it's not personal. But to help you write 90% of the content and then just add your own perspective, it's a great tool. Okay. Some ways we've used Apollo, for instance, for lead generation. This is a nice tool that we use as well to get information on potential clients or leads. And I built APIs for my AI sales agent to go get information on targeted prospects. So it can query the database. It's got millions and millions of professionals in there, and then find the information. I can then reach out to them on LinkedIn, make a connection, and then take the conversation forward. So just a tip there if you're looking for data, where to find leads. You can also use AI to do AI-powered ad creatives, email campaigns. This is Ad Creative. It's one of the tools that we use to generate content for us. And it's also quite powerful. It can write email sequences, and it can optimize for conversion by running A/B tests as well. One of the tools that I use a lot is 11 Labs. So 11 Labs, for instance, is where you can train up your own voice. So if I don't get around to doing all of the training videos internally, then I can just give a text, and 11 Labs can speak in my voice and turn text into speech, for instance. It can do voice cloning as well. Use with care. And I just want to throw in a nice tip here for the people. I see we've got somebody here as an expert in cybersecurity as well. You would support me in this. You should link to Christian. I think he put his LinkedIn profile earlier. I saw in the chat. Is have a safe word in your family. Because if you've ever been recorded on YouTube or anywhere else, I can take 2 minutes of your voice and clone your voice and let someone sound like you or an AI sound like you, right? That means that I can go and you can get a phone call from a number you don't know, and the people say, listen, this is your wife. I'm stranded. I was mugged. They stole my phone. This Samaritan is letting me call you, and it sounds like her. And she says, here's a account. I need 5,000 Rand, please, to get home. Please deposit 5,000 Rand into my account. It sounds like her. And then the phone goes dead, and you're very worried. And it sounds like a family member. So we actually have a word in the family that if we're not sure if it's the other person and something like this happening, we can verify that it's, are they under duress? Is it really them? Ferrari was always called out like this. They cloned the CEO's voice, and then he called on the phone out of China, the CFO, and said, listen, the deal is going ahead. We need, 2 million euros in this account. All of that information was correct. because they did their research. But then the CFO thought, this is not normally our process. And he asked him, that book you gave me last week? And the AI voice they had on the other side they didn't have that information. And he then basically stopped the whole deal going through. Otherwise, they would have lost all their money. Okay, but as a tool, 11 Labs is a great tool whenever you need audio and voices. If you need to take recordings and turn them into text, you can do that. Here, my voices, I've got, all my AIs that I respond to in audio is basically runs on these voices. So the 11 Labs also a great tool, and you'll find it in the presentation. But now, operations. Operations is a great place because there is a lot of low-hanging fruit where you can apply AI. One of the things is documentation. When you have to develop your standard operating procedures, is feed AI everything you do, how you do it, when you do it, who's responsible for what, and it will create those standard operating procedures for you, right? Hiring and onboarding. I've seen I've actually spoken to a company in the UK that's now they're very close to launch, where it's an AI, looks like a person, sounds like a person, but it's an AI that does the initial interviews with the people applying for the job, and she basically scores them on unwritten things like, are they truthful? Are they confident? Are they, a lot of the other stuff that humans don't necessarily pick up on, because you can analyze, the recording on such a deeper level. We call it gut feel. AI would have processes that they do. Emails, scheduling, inbox management. There's a great tool that we use, Sanebox, that learns how you manage your emails on your inbox and then starts replicating it. I think there's a link in the presentation as well. So there's a customer support. If you haven't got a AI chatbot on your website yet, please speak to us. People are lazy. They don't want to read your whole website. They want to go and ask your AI assistant on your website, listen, this is who I am. Can they help me with this? And your AI support bot should be able to answer questions on your company, your products, your pricing, everything. Because if you don't give that to them quickly, they're going to move on to a different competitor that gives it to them quickly, because people don't have time. Also, you need to have your schema and your markup on the back of your website built so that AI chatbots can research your company like Manus just did. And if you block Manus, it can say, okay, this is a company that solves this problem for my client. I'm going to suggest them. I actually got I'm bragging slightly. I got my first call the other day, about 3 months ago, actually, from a person, and they started the conversation like that. They called, I answered, and I said, hi, is this a person speaking? Yeah, as far as I know, I'm a person. And I said, well, I know, because ChatGPT just told me to call you because you build AI chatbots. And they expected an AI to be on the other side. I said, no, ChatGPT just listened to all the training I did when I told it what I do. But that's what you want to be. ChatGPT should go and say, this is the person to speak to, right? So and it's very important that you get your website ready for how search is changing. Okay, I'm going off on the tangent. I'll focus again. Right. We've just had somebody join us. I'm not going to name names, but welcome. We're sorry we're here before you. Okay. The reporting and admin, I mean, really, I hate doing reporting. I had to do a strategic review this morning for a client, and I told Claude, go and look at all our Asana boards of what we did for the client, everything that happened in our Google Workspace, and all of the emails relating to this client, and then tell me where we are with this project. That would have taken my people hours to collate all of that information, right? This is how you should be using it. Now, Make automation. So Make is a great way. Again, I want to make this practical. Make is a great way where you can build those SOPs into a process that AI can enable for you. Okay. Make also allows for normal automation, where it just does data manipulation or stuff, but you can actually put some great AIs in there to do the work for you. So earlier I said, talked about the LinkedIn automation that I built. This is how it looks. So I would send it, complete a form, and that form would go into Google Worksheets. Then from there, it would go to Claude. Claude would then go and do research for me on the topic. Then it would send that research to a Google Doc for me that I can review. And it would send it to ChatGPT, which would then create a description for an infographic that's based on the data that was researched. Then it would create an infographic for me, and then upload the infographic and the content into my drive to view. If I approve it, I would send it to Claude. He would write a nice summary for me and post it for me on LinkedIn. That's about 3 hours work that's done in. I just have to read through it and complete it. It takes me now 15 minutes to do a post. Suddenly, content creation becomes much more achievable, because if you don't create content, you're invisible. Because how should AI and people know what you're all about? Okay, right. I saw at least Sean was excited about that. Sean, we'll talk later. I'll show you how to build it right. Okay. Next, if we're talking about process automation and so on, one of the tools you can use is Make. Now, Make allows you, like, not Make, Innate-In. Now, Innate-In is a little bit more advanced. You can do more with it, but it's basically the same thing, where you can, with a visual editor, drag in different elements, add a bit of code or change it, and then it gives you certain outputs. Okay. There's loads of different Innate-In automations. If you go to use case, let's say IT operations, and you can see some of the stuff that it does. I actually want to go to templates here, community. Where are the templates? There we go. Okay, so generate AI viral videos with Nano Banana VO3 shared with socials. They're the whole automation for you. That's built. Yes. Okay. So you see, this is quite an involved one that it does, but there's a lot of stuff happening here. But you can, if you have that inclination and you want to use here like I did, you can build these yourself. Otherwise, just know that it's there. It's something, if you've got some IT support as well that can get into the weeds with you, let them help you build some of these things. It's really powerful to enable you. Okay. So those are the automations that you build yourself. And you'll see there's links with discounts, I think, in the presentation for you. Now, let's take it one step up. So we started with basic chatbots. You engage with it, you give it a prompt, it goes and does a bit of work, and it gives you stuff back, right? Then we went to, okay, now I want this to happen on a trigger. And this could be like every Monday, I want it to do a competitive analysis for me that you can build with Make and Innate-In. Now let's go one step further. Now you want to start building an MVP, a minimum viable product yourself. And one of the tools that we use internally for quick development, just to test out, some of the stuff that we want to build, and then we can build on that if we go enterprise level, is Lovable. There's some others as well. There's Cursor. There's I think what's the other one? I'll remember some of the other names in a bit. But Lovable is one of my favorites, and you can literally take it and give it a prompt, and Lovable can basically build you what you've got in mind, ready to build, and it will build you everything. The page that you guys use to book, I gave it what I wanted to build me the whole page with everything in there. I even got a nice mugshot of Fergus. It didn't break when I gave it to him. Thanks, Fergus. It built the whole thing for me with FAQs and a form, and I could then link it to a database in the back end so that I could log in and I could see, everybody that's that basically booked for the course. Okay, so now you're getting to prompts that actually gives you workable products at the end. I do want to put a proviso though. This is great for building a demo, and it's great for building maybe some of your internal tools. I'll give you some examples of stuff I've built for myself. But if you go and put it into production and send it out to clients, do let somebody that knows what they're doing look at the security. Let us come and do a security audit for you. You don't want to expose your whole database to the world. There are some provisos. AI is smart, but it's not wise. So I would always have a human in the loop. It's the same with content generation. I wouldn't just generate content and dump it on the internet. You always have to have a human in the loop that knows what they're doing, but it can speed up the process. So our principle that we use is 10-80-10. 10% human input in the beginning to make sure that the AI understands what it can do, can't do, and what to look out for. Then it does the bulk of the work, and then 10% human input at the end where we quality control, make sure it got it right, is not going to get you into trouble, right? It's like the AI chatbots that we build for your website. We build narrow AI that would only answer people on your company and your products. You don't want the AI on your website when somebody goes, what do you think about Hitler? To go, oh, he was a great leader, because he could get everybody excited about his vision, right? The AI is technically correct, but it's, that's not the right answer. So that's why we train narrow AI that will only answer questions on your website, for instance. Now with Lovable, it's the same thing. It's great to build a quick, minimal, viable product, tested with a few of the 3S, your friends, family, and fools, and get some feedback. But I would be hesitant to just build something in Lovable and then send it out into the world. You need to, have some just technical people do it. Okay. Some things we've built operationally for ourselves. I've built Ops Coffee for myself. It manages all of my people, their leave, their training that they want to do, their development goals, their performance, all of the documents that we have internally, and all of our policies. So now I can run all of my HR internally with it. I've got some AI in the back end that can suggest training for them, depending on their development goals and their strengths and weaknesses, depending on their personality, which I'll also have fed into this. So that's a great thing to build internally. It saves me hours and hours. And I did that with vibe coding, made sure it was secure that people couldn't get in, and there we go. Right. So there's I can see all the people that loves building stuff going, this is great. Now I'm an ideator and a builder, and I have never been so sleep deprived in my life. I think the last time I've been so sleep deprived because I can now execute all of my ideas is when I was doing my master's degree at Oxford in England, and I was also raising an 18-year-old daughter at the same time. So I used to do the 3 o'clock feeds because that's when I, could work and contribute. Anyway, but there's so much stuff we can build these days with these tools. I'm just, like a kid in a candy store. Just some prompts that I'm going to share with you later. Sorry, some tools you can use. Notion AI is a great one for knowledge management. ClickUp is a project management software that actually integrates a lot of the AI into it. Firefly's AI can join your meetings and make notes. It's just difficult to get rid of Firefly AI once you've got it in there. But it'll make notes of all your stuff, send you a summary of the meetings, etc. And then Calendly is also great for intelligent scheduling. Now, I see I'm just mindful of time. Legal compliance and analytics. I've got a prompt in there for you where you can test your POPIA compliance. Use it if you want to. And that's actually a scary one. I would suggest that you guys just touch up on that. And that's also why Lovable and just giving people's information is, I would warn you about. You need to make sure that you're POPIA compliant so that you're not in breach of sharing people's information, personal information. Also, a great place to use AI is cybersecurity. AI is getting so much more powerful in seeing where vulnerabilities are and using that vulnerabilities. Even social engineering, there's so much stuff that's happening out there. We use a very good tool called Coro, which is actually an AI-empowered antivirus cybersecurity layer above our Google Workspace that we get from Christian. I invited him here today to speak to you. Or not speak to you, but if you guys are interested in that, it saved us quite a few times. Cora would send me an email and say, listen, here's somebody that says that you, the CEO, sending your people emails, asking them to send them critical information. That's happened, I think, in the last 6 months. I've seen 8 flags where impersonators were trying to impersonate me as a CEO and sending my people, and it looks legit. Request for information that you think is easy, but once they get it up and running, they have it into your business. So we need to fight AI with AI. Is unfortunately where we have to go. Also, AI is great. I must say, one of the best tools I use for legal aspects and legal review is Claude. Claude is great at, if you give it, what it needs to look out for, compliance issues and so on. It's great at looking at your documentation and doing an audit for you, giving you just some feedback on your legal issues. One of the projects we're working on, and I asked the CEO if we can share this, and he said that's fine because we're close to launch, is, for instance, where we've trained up AI to do legal feedback on labor law, because South Africa is one of the most complex labor law environments in the world. So it's been trained up with all of South Africa's labor law, including the bargaining councils, including what's happening within case law. So it will, you can ask it questions around what should be the disciplinary process that I need to follow, and it will give you feedback on, take all the processes you have to follow to make sure that if you get to the CCMA, then you've got all your ducks in a row, and it can write you all of the documentation and so on. So this is just an example of how AI can really help you as a CEO be compliant and so forth. Okay. Then I hope some lights are going on. You guys go, oh, I can use it there. Data analysis and analytics. Claude can now be in your Excel. And they released it this morning. You can enable Claude in your Excel and do stuff like, financial projections, trends, It can live in your Excel spreadsheets and give you live analytics on what you're doing. Yeah, again, this could be a whole course on its own, just what you can do with that. But just so you know, go and look there. Then, what if all of the stuff that I showed you could be managed by an AI that has access to these tools and could prompt themselves? So this is why we're building EVAs. EVAs are electronic virtual assistants, where you take all of the stuff that we've just talked about and put it on a VPS. Yes, Claude Cowork is amazing. And we basically encase it in a secure area where it's got its own database, its own brain. It can interact with you. You can send it voice notes. It understands your voice. It runs 24/7. There's no CCMA. It's multi-platform. It's got consistent, persistent memory over time. So it learns who you are. It learns over time what in its memory files, how to work with you. It builds its own SOPs. Me and Eva builds our own SOPs, and you can teach it skills, right? So not to brag, but this whole presentation was built by Eva. I didn't touch it. I gave it what I wanted to say. I gave it my content. It knows what the links are. It's got an Excel spreadsheet of all my links. And I told it, go and build me a presentation for tomorrow's webinar. It was a test as well, because I taught her a skill and she built this whole thing. Right. And she summarizes my inbox for me, flags urgent items. She drafts emails. Yesterday, she emailed Vaden, my co-founder, and said, listen, I see Dennis haven't left yet. He's going to be 5 minutes late for the meeting. You can schedule meetings for me. She does a competitor analysis for me every week, so I know what the competition is doing. She generates content ideas from what's happening on YouTube and writes social media drafts for me. She creates meeting preps for me. Actually, what she does now is, if I meet somebody at an event, I just take a photo of that person's business card. She then extracts all the data from it and sends me a link back that I can add to my phone as an electronic version. Then she emails that person and says, listen, Dennis said I've got some options what I can do with the data. I can ask her to save it for later. I can ask her to send that person an email for a coffee. I can ask her to, she actually built me a menu of what I can ask her to do with it. So I click organize us a coffee. She then contacts this person, gets a time, a place, and everything from them, checks that against my own calendar, and books us a meeting. Before I go into that meeting, she's done lead enrichment. She knows everything about their company, how big their company is, what's happening on social media, who their competitors are their website SEO up to speed or not, or are they invisible to chatbots? What are the points I can talk to them about because their social media is not up to scratch? All of that is sent to me an hour before the meeting on Telegram. And when I walk into the meeting, I'm prepared. Now, I have not found an executive assistant that good yet, right? So anyway, I'm just saying. So this is what we can do. And I'm really excited about that. These are just some of the stuff that I tell it to do for me. And I literally, and I'll show you a demo. I see we're running out of time. Some of the agents that we're planning on building, executive assistants, like we said, that does all of the stuff that I just talked to you. We're building operational assistants that can work on your project tracking, SAP management, client delivery, inventory alerts, all that kind of stuff. We're busy with that as well. We're doing some demos, hopefully in a few weeks on that. Sales assistants that finds the leads for you, enriches the leads for you, and then does scoring for you, and then make proposals to them, and that integrates with your CRM. Actually, Eva built us our own CRM, right? And then we've got, so these are the ones we built. So I just want to mention this. We've only got capacity to build 10 agents in the next month. So if you're interested in us building you an agent to run like this, we're doing it at half price at this stage because we're experimenting with the technology. So if you want to be a cutting edge and build with us, please speak to me or Werner on it. We've only got capacity for 10 more at the moment, but please do speak to us. This is, yeah, it's life-changing tech for me. Yeah, so these are just, you know, the ways we build them. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I actually want to get to the demo. So anyway, here you go. All of the links are in this presentation. I'll share them now in the chat as well. I just want to show you guys Eva. Well, it's been on my tabs. There we go. So Eva lives in Telegram for me. You can link her with WhatsApp. You can link her with other things as well. WhatsApp, Signal. You can link her with Slack, all of it. So here, for instance, I asked her to do, Eva, tell me what you can do for me, including the skills that you have. So core capabilities, communicating and messaging. She can send and receive emails. She's got her own email address, eva@veritexworks. She can integrate with all of these channels. She can do calendar management, contact management. She can research through different APIs. I can integrate her with Apollo, for instance, where she can do lead capturing. She can do document analysis, competitive research. She can do content creation for me, like the presentation you just saw, because she's linked into Gamma through AI. She can do Google Workspace. So she's got her own workspace where she can manage all of the tasks. She can generate her own spreadsheets, her own SOPs, and me and Werner can see exactly what she's doing. So I've got full visibility on everything that AI is doing. I can also pull out her brain and I can tell her, I want you to run on a different model. So I can say, okay, I want you to use Google's model or OpenAI or OpenRouter or Anthropic. And I can just change what brain she has, depending on the strength I want it to have. She can then also do regular checks on a time. So I can tell her, please go and analyze everything that's happening in our operations in Asana, and finally where the bottlenecks are in my company. What tasks are behind, and if that's linked to a specific person, and if I need to go and, you know, intervene and get things moving along. And all this happens 24/7, right? Right, so I can just interact with her. She then goes off. She can do this actually tells her to do a self-assessment. Okay, how are you feeling about the webinar this afternoon? She actually remembered I put the webinar this afternoon, and she knows I'm busy with it. So, okay, your presentation is really good. It just starts covering all your business phases plus the demo section. Anything you need help with for the final prep. So she is contextually aware of it. Claude is, no, I didn't use Claude to create her. Claude is one of the brains that I can power with. She lies on a layer above the LLMs, above the AIs. So my prediction is this is what's going to be the biggest impact on businesses and how businesses are going to be disrupted. Because now I can run a whole marketing team, a whole operational team. I can give each of my middle managers their own executive assistants if I want to. And they can run with all of the data that I want them to do. The input that you're putting into this, the cost of running this 24/7 is much lower than the output. And I think this is going to have the biggest impact on the future of work as we know it, because these agents, I thought this technology would only be available in about 3 to 5 years. It launched 3 weeks ago. That's why I haven't slept in 3 weeks. Right. Okay. So that's my story. This was a whistle-stop tour. Can I just get some feedback in the chat on questions, comments of how you found it? Yes, Alex, I saw you wanted to know yours Jarvis. Alex, you can definitely do that. Give me some feedback on your experience. We will be sending out a feedback form. If you don't mind repeating that for us, just give us feedback how we can improve our webinar. But please engage with us. Let us know if you've got at least some action items you can do for yourself. For those that's starting out, go and play around with all the chatbots I showed you. For those that are doing advanced stuff, speak to us. Let's build you some agents and get them out in the world to help you basically 10x your business. We will be doing a masterclass. We'll be sending out the link for that, where you can look for that masterclass, where we go into much more detail, and we're looking forward to seeing you there.
Dennis, just before you go, we have maybe a few minutes for some questions. There was a question from Heini Buckenberg. He was asking, where do you get the source data for the SWOT analysis?
The source data is actually on your own business. You should know that data, but you can always, if you've got AI integrated into your business already, you can ask it to pull some of that data from the existing documentation that you have. But, for the SWOT analysis, that basically says, create a detailed SWOT analysis for my business, your business, describe what it is, your industry, you should know this, the stage where you're at, your team size, and your target market. So that's the information that you as a business owner should have. That's what you put in, and this is the rest of the prompt you can then run on there. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. No, Karen.
Alex was saying, I'm currently playing around on Longflow in order to develop a workflow in my company to drive efficiencies. What are your thoughts on compared to Vertex AI?
Yeah, Vertex is a great tool. That's from Google, and it integrates it. I've looked at Vertex. It's great if you're working in the Google Workspace environment. You can get a lot of data from there and so forth. It is very powerful. It just takes a bit to set up, in my experience. As opposed to Power BI that's empowered by AI and those kind of things from Microsoft. So it depends on what house you are.
Tian was asking about FICA compliance.
What compliance?
FICA.
Compliance. Just give me more context.
Financial information.
Oh, FICA compliance.
Yeah.
I'll need to understand the question better to give you an answer. If you've got all the documentation of what you need to comply to, you can read that into Claude, for instance, give it your data and say, see if we're compatible. Compliance, sorry, that's the word. Yeah.
And then Warren was saying, any POPIA compliant tools for database building?
Oh, that's getting into the weeds. Not that I know if that's native already, but that's a good idea. Let's build it.
He was asking that. You already answered that one. Yeah, I think that was more or less all the questions that I got so far. Are there any other questions that you like us to address before we depart?
Any other questions, guys? You're welcome to switch on your mic as well if you don't want to talk. Don't want to type.
Hello, Tian speaking.
Yes, yeah.
No, FICA the FICA is a huge, burdensome, time-consuming exercise, and I want to try and automate that that whole process.
But that's it. That is a perfect process to automate. So I think we should definitely take this conversation later on, because it's based on text and it's based on numbers, all the rest of the stuff that AI can actually access and be very good at. So we can definitely talk about how you could be able to build a tool around that does that.
Can I give you my email? Will you contact me? Or can I contact
Let me leave everybody just my email. So Dennis at veritix.works. Please do email me. You can always just go to our website as well, but you will get the email from us with this presentation and all the links. Yeah.
Thank you.
There was a question from Sean. He says, do you use or implement Zapier for some connections and integrations or automations?
You can use, so Zapier is very close to what Make is. Make, I think, is a little bit more user-friendly, but Zapier does basically the thing. You build automated links between, you can make connections between different tools. So if you need to send data from one platform to the other platform, Zapier is a good tool to use. So that's one of the competitors of Make and Inati.
Then Louise had a question about SARA submissions for NPCs and PBOs.
Yeah, again, I'll have to look at it in more detail. But we're doing a lot of tools that we're building around compliance, making sure that you're compliant on policies and so on.
And Yaku API integration to non-mainstream accounting systems, Palladium accounting, processing of daily transactions and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can do that. We can build an API integration. We'll have to look at it in more detail, but yeah, we can do that.
Okay, just have a look at Christian's message there. He can give you more information or insights into OPIA compliance and questions around that.
Yeah, Hazard, thanks, Fergus. The question around that POPIA compliance, what we see with it for a lot of customers is it's about your data governance, right? It's about what POPIA information are you carrying in your environment, and then making sure that, because everybody in South Africa, our responsibility is to protect it. So, yeah, AI is great for that. Sorry, Dennis, the punt again. It's very much when you were speaking about compliance earlier, it's very much what we do with Coro. Big part of what they do is user data governance and endpoint data governance, where you define ID numbers, passports, personal information. It runs through your database or through your environment, looks for it, and then highlights where you've got it. And then from an email point of view, making sure you look for that data so that it doesn't leave your organization. So if somebody wants some answers there, you've punted Coro for us nicely already. But yeah, it's very much what or a big part of what we do as well.
Yeah, because AI is great at looking at somebody maybe sending personal information outside of your organization and you're liable. So now somebody's got a grudge against you, whatever, and they download all of their other employee data and they try and send it out. You need AI to go, whoa, this email shouldn't go out because it's not allowed outside of my organization. It's those kind of use cases that's really good. I see you've got some supporters there. Can we have a summary of all the AIs and tasks they perform? Yeah, I can ask Eva to do that for you. Okay. I'll send that out, Betty, and we'll get that done. Okay. If there's, please send me some emails. First come, first serve on those AI agents or assistants that we're going to build. We're excited to get started helping CEOs and business leaders to implement that technology. I think it's going to be a game changer. And I hope I opened your eyes. If you there's a saying, it's not AI that will take your job or disrupt your business. It's those that leverage AI that will. So don't be the ones that's disrupted. Be the ones that is disrupting. And that's really what we try and help you to do.
Yeah, thank you very much for everybody's attendance here. We're a bit over time, but I I was just reminding you, have an opening, have a look at your diary for the 5th of March. Jennifer, am I correct? 5th of
Yes.
March. We intend to present that masterclass that Dennis was referring to, where there's limited space now, but make sure and be on the lookout for that email that Dennis is going to send out and book your spots for that masterclass, the whole day conference here at Centurion Golf Estates on the 5th of March. You'll get more information about that soon. And yeah, thank you very much for your attendance and everything that you contributed to this discussion. We really look forward to seeing you again on the next round. All the best. Thank you.
Okay,
Dennis. Leave that.
Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely day. Batsy, email me that question. I'll give you some feedback. You must get your AI assistant to summarize the data for you into a format that you can basically consume. Okay. All right.